I had the chance to draw Spider-Man for Marvel Comics, and I blew it.
You serious?
I messed it up, okay? Not because I wasn't good enough, not because I didn't want it, but I made a decision. It was because I was too nice. Let me explain. But while I do that, today is day 5 of my 30 for 30 series where I'm drawing a brand new piece of artwork, a fully completed piece of artwork every day for the next 30 days, and this is day 5. So while I tell you this story, I'm going to show you a few things. I'm going to show you that particular artwork where I'm going to be drawing another face-off where I take two arch enemies and face them off against each other. In fact, you guys have suggested that I do this particular one of Spider-Man versus Venom. So in this particular video, I'm going to draw Spider-Man versus Venom in a face-off while telling you this very, very interesting story. So the Spider-Man piece, let's start off with the Venom side. Now, let me tell you about what happened, okay? Let me tell you something about working in comic books itself. It's one thing to get your foot in the door. It's another to stay in the door itself. Sometimes we only look at two versions of the story here. You have those who are trying to get their foot into comics, trying to break into comic books itself. And then you have the people that, have those year-long contracts in Marvel. They work on multiple books after books after books. There is a little in between, something like right in the middle between the two, where you are good enough to get hired by Marvel and DC, but not good enough necessarily to get multiple projects handed to you one after the other. In this particular case, I finished off my run on Wonder Woman. I did Wonder Woman for DC, and I wanted to get more work from DC, but they didn't offer me any more work after that. I actually had another job offer. I turned it down because I thought DC was going to give me more work, and they ended up not giving me any more work. So I was actually off for a few months. I was making more samples, trying to cold email all these editors, trying to find a job. And this is the limbo that I was talking about because, you're searching for that job. Sometimes when you're working in comics, it feels like, 6 months of the year, you have no work at all. And then all of a sudden, all of these jobs come at once. So I was at the point where, I really needed a job. I really needed to work. So I ended up going back to another company that I worked for back in the past where I got my start in comics. It was called Dreamwave, and I'll tell you guys a story about that in a different video. And, they brought me back on to do concept work for them. They were doing these movie pitches and stuff, and they wanted some help doing some concept work. So I talked to my boss then, and then I got the job to start doing some concept work for them. So let me talk about how I met C.B. Cebulski, the current editor-in-chief of Marvel. While I do that, why don't I show you guys a piece that I did before on this channel. Actually, one of my more popular pieces, if you can imagine. It's me drawing 50 Spider-Man suits. Okay, since we're in a Spider-Man theme here, why not? The thing with the 50 Spider-Man suits is I actually drew another piece where I drew 100 Spider-Man, but for some reason, this piece seems to be a little bit more popular. Maybe it's because it's a more action pose, but it is what it is. So hopefully you will enjoy it if you haven't seen this already. Well, I talked about my relationship with C.B. Cebulski. Now, before I continue the story, let me tell you a little bit more about my relationship with Marvel at the time. Now, at the time, I didn't really have any professional Marvel work that I've done yet, okay? Now, I did end up doing professional work for Marvel a little bit later on. I will discuss that in a bit. But I did have a relationship, a good talking relationship with the current editor-in-chief of Marvel. His name is C.B. Cebulski, and he's always been very good to me. Very, very good to me. He would always answer my emails. Something is like when you would cold email a writer or you cold email an editor, it's very rare they actually answer you back, especially back in those days. Like, I think the equivalent today is if you would try to tweet, a tweet. If you try to send a DM to them, either on Instagram or X or whatever platform, and sometimes you just don't get a reply. But CB actually replied to me. He answered my emails. And in fact, over the years, he was actually very willing to take a look at my work and give me pointers on all of my work. He told me once if you're coming down to, at the time, the Chicago Comic-Con at the time was a big thing. Back in those days, like early 2000s, there were the two big cons. You had San Diego Comic-Con, which was always big, and then Chicago's Wizard World in July. That was also a very, very big con as well. Was it in July? I forgot when it was. But that was also a very big convention as well. That was a little bit closer for me. It's only about a 10-hour drive for me to go to Chicago. So I made the drive over there, and CB was there. And he was gracious enough to look at a Fantastic Four sample that I did. I did a 4-page sample, and he went over it with me, and he gave me a whole lot of different pointers and stuff. So when it comes to helping young artists, CB was the man. He was the man. And currently now, the editor-in-chief of Marvel, doing some fantastic stuff. So nothing against CB here. So that's the thing. Whenever somebody goes to an editor or they talk to an editor, they're hoping they would give them a job right away. But it's a process. Sometimes it takes a long time, even if they are interested in your stuff. It could take years even for something like that to happen. And that's that's what happened to me. It took a couple years before I even heard from him about possibly getting a job. Because I wish I could have done a piece like this for him. And this is my 50 Spider-Man suits, and this is what it looks like in full color. So let's talk about the job offer itself. While I talk about the job offer itself, why don't you check out me drawing Venom in 10 hours. This is a 10-hour Venom piece. I tried to draw as many symbiotes as I could in this particular Venom piece. But the job offer came when I just started working for my old company again. Literally 1 week after I agreed to come back to my old company, that's when CB Cebulski messaged me. He said, "Hey, James, we have this opportunity for a backup story. I'm not sure for what comic book, but it was 14 pages. He wanted me to draw this 14-page Spider-Man story. A 14-page Spider-Man story." And I was like, oh, man, you think about the decisions that you make in your life. And I will say that Dreamwave, there are a lot of stories about Dreamwave, and I will tell you guys about that a little bit later on in later videos. From my experience, okay, I don't want to get anyone in trouble here, but I will tell you from my experience what happened there. But in that case, I just returned back to my old job, right? So I didn't know what to do. I literally just got back. Should I quit to work on Spider-Man? I was even thinking about maybe even maybe I'll still take the Spider-Man job and work nights, because you don't know when the next opportunity would come. You have no idea when the next opportunity would come. So I was very hesitant to take that Spider-Man job, but that was a legit offer to draw Spider-Man for Marvel, a dream job of mine. I love Spider-Man. I loved, like you guys know, one of the cartoons that got me into drawing in the first place was drawing Spider-Man and his amazing friends. I love Spider-Man ever since I was a young child. And here was my chance to actually draw Spider-Man for real, professionally, for Marvel. And I was too nice. And I told CB my situation. Like CB, I literally just got back working for Dreamwave, but I think I can make it work. And then CB went to me, hey, look, James, look, it's okay. Finish up your responsibilities there, and there'll be other opportunities coming later. Don't worry. That means you're definitely on our radar, and we'll keep you in mind for something else. Okay, so that opportunity went away. Hindsight's 2020. Hindsight's 2020 all the time. And I think to myself, what would have happened if I just, because I could have just told Pat, hey, look, I got an opportunity in Marvel. I know I just got back, but, this is a lifetime opportunity I really want to take. I could have said that. Sometimes people are worried about what others think about what you do. Right? And it's not like those people at Dreamwave, like I was friends with them, but they weren't like good friends or anything like that. And it's not like they would have been in a bind if I would have left. Okay? Again, hindsight said 2020. Me looking at this again, like literally 20 years later, and thinking about that opportunity to draw Spider-Man, it's like, did I make the right choice? Did I make a right choice? Now, again, I don't regret anything I do in life because it brought me to the point where I am right now. And to be honest, it's kind of like it's one of those things when you miss an opportunity, like, you know, you always think back, oh, what if, but you really don't know what if. And, you know, what you should do is learn from those decisions, okay? Instead of regretting life, going around like, oh, man, what did I do? You know, even though I've done that, it's a better practice. It's okay, take a step back and like, what can I learn from this? What can I learn from this? There is an opportunity, you know, because I made a mistake later on, and which I'll probably talk about in a little video, that this caused, okay, that this decision caused, and I'll talk about that in a second. But I said, okay, and like I said, CB said that, don't worry, there'll be more opportunities later on. That opportunity to work for Marvel didn't come until 1 year later, a whole year before I got a chance. Was it 1 year? I'm even thinking back. It might have been longer. No, about 1 year. 1 year later, that's when I actually finally got my opportunity to work for Marvel Comics, working on Hulk Destruction for Marvel. So that was my official first book for Marvel, was Hulk Destruction. So that was that particular Venom piece, by the way. And I'm going to show you one more piece before we go ahead and finish off the face-off piece. This is me trying to recreate a famous Todd McFarlane Spider-Man cover. This is Amazing Spider-Man number 300. You know, maybe part for the 30 for 30. I'm actually very tempted to take this particular cover and finish it off, you know, because, you know, I'm looking at it right now, and whether you believe me or not, I think it's lacking detail. I think I could do a whole lot more to this piece, but maybe we'll do that later on. So, but maybe you guys will enjoy it. You can watch that while I explain the way comics work in that sense. When you're in that limbo, okay? The limbo part of working in comics. And what's that limbo part? It's when you don't know when the next job's coming. Like I said, sometimes you're working 6 months, and then the rest of the year, you have too much work. You have too much work, and the problem is because you weren't working those 6 months of the year, you can't say no. You don't know what to pick. You're very selective in what you pick. You know, after working for DC, I was hoping that they would give me a job. When I had a job offer on the table for a 6-month issue run for Top Cow. Top Cow is an imprint of Image Comics, or they're published through Image Comics. So they had a title that they wanted me to do 6 issues on. Wasn't the best paying, I'll be honest. It wasn't the best paying, but it was 6 months of work. It was 6 months of work. And then looking back, I don't know. Again, maybe I should have took that job. But I was trying to get more work at DC. I took a gamble, and I lost that gamble there. And that's the way comics works when you're in that limbo until you're established. It seems like there's times when there's absolutely no work, and then there's times where there's too much work. There was a time where I had 3 jobs at once, 3 comic book jobs at once, and because of what happened with that Spider-Man story, and because of what happened before when I was hoping DC would give me work, I said yes to all of them, and I was trying to do 3 books at the same time. I was drawing 3 books at the same time, and I ruined all 3 jobs. I'll go in depth into that particular story a little bit later on. But, you know, that was the lesson learned there. That was the lesson learned there. Again, woulda, shoulda, coulda. You know, you can't help but think what would have happened if I did get that Spider-Man job. Would things have turned out differently than they did? But, again, all of that, I believe all of that leads up to what happens to you in the future. Maybe all that would have happened and I never would have became a YouTuber, right? All that would have happened and all these good things that happened in my life never would have happened. I did get an opportunity to draw Spider-Man later on. And there it is, that Spider-Man. This is my Spider-Man cover recreation, recreated from the great Todd McFarlane, which I hope to meet again. I met him once in person. I'm hoping to meet him again. Hopefully try to get a job. Hey, Todd McFarlane, call me. As now we go to the face-off piece, let's actually go to the actual day 5, the 5th piece in my 30 for 30 series, 30 drawings, completed drawings in 30 days as I draw this last piece here. But I'll tell you what I learned from all of that. But the fact is, I did get a small chance to draw Spider-Man professionally for Disney, as he was in the big mural that I did for Infinity War. Can you believe that Infinity War mural was like 7 years ago? 2018. 7 years ago, when I did that Infinity War mural for Marvel. One of the greatest experiences of my life was doing that Infinity War mural. But Spider-Man was in there. So I can't say I've drawn Spider-Man professionally for Marvel and Disney. I have done that. High five. But also, you know, drawing Spider-Man is really one of the catalysts of the success of my channel right now. Some of my most viewed videos, my videos that gave me the most opportunity, the most profitability, all came from me drawing Spider-Man. And that, in part, is thanks to all of you guys for helping me fulfill my dream, for living my dream, drawing Spider-Man. Now, maybe not officially for Marvel, but in a way where I enjoy it and the way that you guys enjoy it as well. And this one more piece here that I do here right now, it's another way that I can enjoy drawing one of the characters I've loved ever since I was a kid, and that was Spider-Man. Now, if Marvel offered me the opportunity today to draw Spider-Man, I'd take it. I'd take it. Marvel, call me. CB, are you still around? Call me. Come on, CB, give me some work. But what did you guys think about this? Thank you guys for watching. This was a lot of fun to draw. By the way, all of this is to lead up to my appearance at Fan Expo Canada. You'll see all of my 30 for 30 artworks at Fan Expo Canada if you're in the Toronto area, August 21st to the 24th here in Toronto, Canada. If you would like to come by and say hi, I would love to meet you all in person. And this is it, the final face-off. Spider-Man versus Venom piece coming right at you. Awesome. Thank you guys so much for listening to my story. If you have any questions about that, why don't you guys let me know in the comments down below. And if you have any other examples of face-offs you want me to do, any pieces you want me to include in this 30 for 30 challenge that I'm doing, why don't you also let me know in the comments down below. Thank you guys for watching. You guys are the best. My name is James. I am the box office artist of your Sacred Drawing. I'll see you all tomorrow.